Okay, this video is going to show us how to compare strings in Java. Make sure that you have a piece of paper for yourself, or if you can type your notes, that's fine. But have your own notes to take here. I do not have a fill-in-the-blank type notes to hand out. So we're going to talk about comparing strings. We're going to look at why we should not be using the equals operator to compare strings. So far we've been using it to compare numeric data, but we're going to show why it doesn't work for strings. And then we're going to take a look at two methods that can be used to compare strings. So let's take a look. So here's a program that has the following in it. So first of all, we have pet1 is cat, and you'll notice that pet2 is the same thing. So these are the same, they're equal. Pet3 derives the value cat by the use of a substring. And so if you remember, how we do this, Java term is where it's getting the substring, so it's the substring of concatenate. And so the substring pulls the characters starting at position 3. So if you remember, it goes 1, 2, and 3. So 3 is the C. And then it has 6 minus 3 characters. So 6 minus 3 is 3. It has 3 characters. So it starts at C and goes 3 characters, so cat. And so just to show you that this is really happening, we're going to then notice the print statement is going to print the value of pet3 here, and I'm just going to show you that it actually is in fact cat. Then what we'll do is we will make some changes here. So what we'll see here then is that we're also asking the user for their favorite type of pet, and we're going to try it probably typing the word cat in there. So pet4 will also say cat, and then we have pet5, which has a capitalized cat. And so we're going to take a look at how these things affect the comparisons. And so let's take a look at this. Let's go ahead and eliminate this for now. Alright, so first of all, we're going to compare pet1 to pet2. If they're the same, then it's going to say true. If it's not, then it's going to ignore the if clause and say false. And so as we look at this then, okay, what did I just do? I eliminated that for some reason. So here we go. So the first thing is it says true. So pet1, cat is equal to cat. That makes sense. All right, so now we're going to start to blow your mind here, because now let's go ahead and compare pet1 to pet. Oh boy, I'm having some issues here. Pet3. All right, so now pet1 is cat. Pet3 we already showed is cat, but in this cat it's derived from a substring, and so let's go ahead and print that. All right, and so now that says false. All right, so let's go down here. All right, so that says false. Well, it says so cat is not equal to cat. Well, that doesn't make sense. Let's try pet4. Well, is cat equal to cat? I mean, this is all. Let's say if we type in, so we go here and it says favorite type pet. I'm going to type cat. All right. Well, those should be the same, but it says false. So you can see that using the equals operator sometimes produces true, or the actual. I'm sorry. Actually, it sometimes produces the right response or result, and other times it does not, so it's not consistent. Now there's a whole thing on why that happens and we can get into, but we're not going to take the time to go into that at this time. But the main idea here is that comparing strings using the equals operator produces inconsistent accuracy. It is not always accurate. And so we have to come up with a different way to compare our strings. So let's go back to, well, let's go ahead and go back to pet 3. All right, so this is how we would do this. What you're going to do, let's say we want to compare pet 3, and this should be true, but using the equals operator does not work. So we're going to go here, and what we're going to do is going to go pet1 dot equals, and then in parentheses is pet 3. So if you remember, when we did the substring, we learned how we have the name of the variable that contains a particular string, and then we have the method. So so this right here is the name of the method. This is the variable that contains the string. And then, of course, this is the arguments for that method. And so the same thing is going to happen here. This is the name of the variable that contains the string. So the string is cat. And then we're seeing, is it equal to pet 3? So equals is the method. This is the method. And then we are comparing it. In this case, the argument is the variable call. We could put a string in here too, which I'll show you in a second. But this pet 3 is the variable that contains the other string, that you're going to compare the string in pet 1 and the string in pet 3. So these are being compared. All right? And so cat should equal cat. We should get a true here. And so let's take a look. And notice it says true. All right? So now let's put, just while I was mentioning this, you might have a string in here. Let's see if that produces a true. Okay, that does. You also can put, let's do something else. Let's put dog. Dogs and cats, are they equal? So you see that says false. And so you can also have a string inside the argument of the equals method. All right, so now let's take a look at, we had pet 4. Let's go ahead and get that back out here. And so we're going to put pet 4 in here and compile. And then notice here, we're going to type cat in, and it says false. Because, why does it say false? Oh, well, that's weird. Because I think, did I do this right? Let me pause this. All right, so I'm going to show you, I don't know if anybody picked up on this, but I have quotation marks. There is an error, and so now it's a variable call. So, sorry. And so the compiler yelled at me. And so let's try this again. I'm going to type cat, and then so it says true. If I run it again, this time I'm going to type dog, then it's going to give me false. All right, and then here's another one. So that's, anyway, that's how you compare strings, is by using the equals method. Now, there is another issue that happens. So let's take a look at 5. Now, this has a capital C for a cat, and this one does not. And so let's see what happens here. Okay, it says false. It says cat is not equal to cat. So lowercase cat does not equal uppercase cat. And so here's the thing to remember. The equals method the equals method requires the spelling and capitalization to be the same. All right, the equals method requires spelling and capitalization to be the same. All right, so there is a way where, let's say you're asking for user input and you want the capitalization to not matter. All right, so we have another method called equals ignore case. Now this is a little bit misleading here because of the font. So I'm going to change the font to Courier New. All right, so this is an I. So equals ignore case. This one, the equals ignore case method allows for the capitalization to not be the same. So if you're asking for, let's say, a color, type the color red or the color blue. And so one person types a red with no capitals and the other person types a capital R. All right, and sometimes that's what I do, is I will type something, just automatically capitalize it. And so this will allow the user to type any type of capitalization there. And so let's go ahead and demonstrate that. And so let's change this to equals ignore case. All right, so this should produce a true because everything's the same except for capitalization. So there it is, it produces a true. All right, so that is how you compare strings, is using the equals method and the equals ignore case method.